This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, Monday, March the 15th, in 1988, the Phoenix Cardinals were born out of the ashes of the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, you'll be thinking to yourself, the St. Louis Cardinals was a baseball team. Yes, but they also had an NFL team in St. Louis. Kind of stupid, don't you think? Called the St. Louis Cardinals. But anyway, the story of the Cardinals franchise started with the Chicago Cardinals back in 1925. As basically the Chicago Cardinals would play their games out of Wrigley Field and would have some decent years. Their most important season of Chicago Cardinals history was 1929 when a fullback by the name of Ernie Nevers had 6 touchdowns in one game and broke the scoring record for most points in a game by a player, 40. And that's when basically players would do 2 positions, like be a kicker and a fullback, or a kicker and a wide receiver, whatever you want to call it. Not much about the Chicago Cardinals is being said. The Cardinals franchise have not won a title of any sort since 1948. I would say 1948, but that was the last time they made the playoffs for a long time. So they won a division. I don't know. Regardless, the St. Louis NFL team, the Cardinals, were in St. Louis from 1960 to 1987. They played at Sportsman Park for a few years and then moved to the Busch Stadium with the baseball Cardinals. So basically, the artificial turf of the Cardinals would have to be shared with the football of the St. Louis Cardinals. In their 28-year stay in St. Louis, they only went to 4 playoffs: 64, 74, 75, and 82. They had only a winning percentage of 48%. However, strange as it sounds, in the 3 locations which the team was in, Chicago, St. Louis, and now in Phoenix/Arizona, it's got the highest winning percentage, 48%. Really? I thought Arizona would be a little bit higher than that. So anyway, yeah, St. Louis got the team. Well, Chicago Cardinals owner Violet Bidwell married a St. Louis businessman, after inheriting the team from her late first husband, Charles Bidwell. It was obvious that the Cardinals could not compete with the Chicago Bears. They decided to try to find a home, and Violet Bidwell found a home. And with competition from the AFL looming, St. Louis was surveyed by the NFL, and the NFL said St. Louis could hold the team. So on March 13th, 1960, almost 61 years ago, the league's 12 owners unanimously approved the move from Chicago to St. Louis for the Cardinals, ending 40 NFL seasons in Chicago. The Bidwells did have to have permission from the Cardinals baseball team to share the nickname and all that. While the practice of teams in the same city playing different sports under the same name was nothing new, in some cases the football team deliberately copied the baseball team's name. But the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team didn't mind sharing the Cardinals nickname. They were called the Big Red and the Football Cardinals. So basically, the Cardinals had a chance to make the playoffs in 63 and failed. St. Louis had some new stars come up in the 60s. Larry Wilson, Jim Bakken, and Jim Hart would be among others. Violet Bidwell would die in 62, and her sons took control, Bill and Charles Jr. The Bidwells almost moved the team to Atlanta, only 4 years after picking up St. Louis, I guess because their mother died. They wanted to construct a new stadium, and that city was planning for one to drag the NFL and baseball team. St. Louis persuaded them to stay with the promise of Busch Memorial Stadium and all that. Ironically, there would be a St. Louis team that would move to Atlanta, but that was 1968, and that was the NBA Hawks. The Cardinals did good and all that. They wanted to get to the Eastern Conference Finals of the NFL, but they failed miserably. They had a good start. In 1966, the first year of the Super Bowl era, they were 8-2-1 in first place in the Eastern Conference, but they lost 3 straight. They were 85-1 and they failed. And Dallas took the conference title. The St. Louis would actually come close to making the playoffs in 68, but a tie against the terrible Pittsburgh Steelers kept them out of the playoffs. But St. Louis did a little better. With the merger of the AFL and NFL, the Cardinals were in the NFC East with the Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, and the Redskins. I know. I can't really say that name, but I'll say it. So anyway, they looked okay and all that. The Cardinals were 7-0 to start the 74 season and won the NFC East Championship, their first division/conference title since their unsuccessful title defense of 1948, on the strength of the sweep over the Redskins. However, due to the NFL playoff format at the time that had the division champions rotate between home field advantage, regardless of their respective records, the Cardinals had to go on the road to Minnesota instead of hosting the Vikings. Cardinals got crushed 30-14. Cardinals still won the NFC East in 75, but the playoff format changed. The top two of the 3 division winners with the best records got home field advantage. The Cardinals ended up being third. They would have to face the LA Rams at LA Memorial Coliseum and got crushed 35-23. So yeah, they really sucked all that. Strange as it sounds, the Cardinals won 10 games in the 76 season, but they didn't win the division. All that. Which was pathetic. They couldn't even get the wild card spot. The Cardinals would be in steep decline after 76. Most notably in 77 when they lost on Thanksgiving Day to the Miami Dolphins 55-14 next to Bob Griese's record-setting 6 touchdowns. Oh, crap. Here he comes. What are you talking about? Thanksgiving Day, Cardinals, Dolphins. That doesn't make sense. Well, for some strange reason, they decided to give St. Louis a couple of Thanksgiving Day games in the late 70s, Mr. Doubter. And they shot the bed. All right, then. I'm leaving. So anyway, the Cardinals were in steep decline. For the 78 season, they decided to hire Bud Wilkinson, who basically was a dynasty for the University of Oklahoma. But Wilkinson had not coached since 1963. And St. Louis basically couldn't do anything. Wilkinson was actually fired by the owner because he refused to bench Jim Hartford rookie Steve Pisarkiewicz, or whatever it's called. Larry Wilson actually was the star and all that. But there were some terrible moves. St. Louis had a first-round selection of kicker Steve Little from my beloved University of Arkansas, but he was paralyzed in an automobile accident in 1980. They hired Wilkinson, which was bad, and then J.V. Kane, their top tight end and top player, I think, died of a heart attack. Cardinals did make the 82 playoffs, but that was the 16-team stupid playoff because of the strike and fell to the Packers easily. So basically, it was huge. The St. Louis Cardinals actually had a golden chance to win the NFC East by beating the Redskins in the 84-85 season, but they missed a game-winning field goal, giving Washington the division. So yeah. The NFL owners, March 15, 88, decided to say Bidwell could go to Tempe, Arizona. There were rumors that Jacksonville and Baltimore were getting the Cardinals, but they didn't. However, Jacksonville got an expansion team in '95, and Baltimore got a franchise after the Cleveland Browns decided to move there. St. Louis wouldn't be that bad without a franchise, as the Rams came to town from '95, but then they left in 2015, and then they moved back to Los Angeles. And with the Rams' relocation back to LA, St. Louis became the first city to lose two NFL teams that have relocated to the Western United States. Weird. So anyway, the Arizona Cardinals haven't really done that much in playoff history. Their best playoff moments were in 1998 when they, as a wildcard team, went into Dallas and beat Troy Aikman and the Cowboys, getting their first playoff win in 5 freaking decades, thanks to Jake Plummer's performance as the starting quarterback. Arizona would get to the 2009 NFC title game. Well, they were the best team in the NFC, which was amazing. But sadly, though, they lost in one of the greatest Super Bowls in the past 20 years, and to San Antonio Holmes' toe tap in the end zone. Poor Cardinals. They say the Cardinals franchise is jinxed because they refused to give Pottsville, Pottsville, the 1925 NFL title because they were stripped because they were playing an exhibition game against Notre Dame. And basically, the Bidwell family basically said Pottsville should never get a title to get the 1925 title. Anyway, yeah, the Cardinals have had a few decent seasons. Kyler Murray has been doing pretty well for the Cardinals with that Hail Mary against Buffalo that pissed me off, even though I'm anti-Buffalo. I mean, I wanted Buffalo to beat Arizona in that game. But for me, the best moment of the Cardinals in Arizona was when they were shit. They were 3-12 heading into the final week of the 2003 season. They would face Minnesota, who would just need to win in Arizona to get that division title, to get the NFC Central title. But fans actually said, screw the number one pick. We want to beat Minnesota. And thanks to a weird comeback by Josh McCown with his last second throw that Nate Poole in the end zone, which Green Bay actually gave him the key to the city for that moment. It got Green Bay to the division round. It was one of the biggest chokes in NFL history because the Minnesota Vikings started out 6-0 and should have won at least a playoff spot, but they failed. So hail to the Cardinals somehow. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adu.